My name is Michelle. I'm the current VP of Communications, and here with me today I have Crystal, who is the co-VP of Athletics.
Hello.
Ethan, who's running our stream today, and he is the co-historian.
Hello. I apologize, there's so many issues, but yeah.
No, it's okay. It happens. It rained a lot too. And we also have Mr. Logan, who is our activities director. And we have Miss Edwards, who is our Vice Principal of Administrative Affairs. Today we will also be introducing to you the ASB candidates if you haven't met them on the website yet. And we will start with our presidential candidate, Ali Broker.
Hello.
Then we also have our executive vice presidential candidate, Amy Okuma.
Hello.
And then, let me pull up the list. We have our VP of Finance and Records candidates, Kyleigh.
Hello.
And Truc.
Hello.
We have our VP of Athletics candidates, Armaan.
Hello.
And Jenny.
Hey guys.
And then we have our VP of Communications candidates, Likhitha.
Hello.
And Faith.
Hello.
And then finally we have our VP of Student Outreach candidates, Praceda.
Hi, everyone.
Debanshu.
Hello.
Theresa.
Hello.
And Amelia.
Hello.
And that is all our candidates. Before we commence with the forum, ASB would like to emphasize the following. ASB is devoted to making Independence a more supportive and inclusive environment for all students. ASB stands for Associated Student Body, and as an entire student body, we hope that we can all work together to unlearn hatred, educate ourselves, and nurture a positive and safe environment for all students. We do not tolerate discrimination of any type. However, we do understand that humans make mistakes quite often, and we're inevitably bound to do so. Therefore, we want to stress that leaders and role models should always seek to be learning and unlearning, listening, and to be bettering ourselves. Now we will begin the Q&A portion of the forums. To the audience, you can submit questions to our Google form linked on the frame of our live stream. You can ask questions either to all the candidates or just candidates of a specific position as stated on the Google form, but we do not permit any questions that are directed towards one specific candidate. Once we ask the question, candidates will get 1 minute to think about the question and 45 seconds to respond. Each candidate will then get, the order of response is chosen randomly. When you're watching these speeches and Q&As, please keep this one question in mind when you're selecting a candidate to vote for. What does this candidate want to achieve within the next school year? How they will achieve these goals? And will these goals improve the school as a whole? And we will begin with our first question. Directed to everyone, think about an ASB-held event you've attended in the past, virtual or in person. How would you like to improve that event? Okay, we will go in order from President to VP of Student Outreach in the same order that we introduced everyone. So, Ali?
Okay, so I'm a little lucky with this question because, you guys know I'm special events right now currently, so even after this election, I'm still currently and I'm still going to have to work on improving these events, and one of the main goals that we've been talking about through learning the past events, obviously technology, it's hard. You guys can see that from this alone, it's hard, there's going to be difficulties, but it's distance learning. So that aside, technology, mistakes, tech issues aside, one of the main things is keeping our viewing interested and keeping them engaged. I think that's one of the most important things because people are going to go to these to get some joy, to relieve some stress, to watch these and have fun. So I think keeping them engaged and actually wanting to watch it, I think that's one of the main things. And that can be done with the different games or the kind of having a variety of different people to have multiple audiences met in the event.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
Next we have Amy.
So I wanted to talk about a specific event, which was the Christmas Airband live stream that we had in December. And it kind of ties into what Ali says about keeping viewers engaged. I feel compared to the Sixers Rally or the talent show, this Christmas Airband live stream didn't have as much viewers. And I Yeah, just what ties in with what Ali says, we need to work on making sure that the viewers come back for each event and keep them interested. We could probably, for that specific event, we could probably add like commentators to make it more interesting because it was just a live stream of the videos. We could maybe pub it more. Yeah, that's my thought.
Thank you, Ali. Next, or not Ali, Amy, apologies. Next, we have Kyleigh.
So I think although keeping our viewers engaged, I also think we should be more inclusive with our events. I mean, such games and activities. And also, I think including people in our community, such as the teachers. I believe that the teachers from the virtual rally really brought a lot of attention and it made people excited for that rally. So I believe bringing in the teachers could really engage, really want students to participate in the rally and activities in the school.
Thank you, Kyleigh. Next, we have Truc.
I definitely agree about having trying to get more students to be more involved with all of the events, but I want to try and maybe keep our community safe because there was a lot of problems in our rally YouTube live comments, and a lot of people weren't very happy with that. And I want to try to make it more safe for us, and maybe like have limits of what you can or cannot say, and maybe also have all the members of that in like, for example, ICC meetings be more vocal with their opinions, because usually there's only a few people talking at a time, and maybe everyone can be more involved.
Thank you, Truc. Next, we have Armaan.
Hello. I definitely agree with like some of our previous candidates that we definitely need to engage in viewership more. But another thing I'd like to also focus on is the variety of games. And although I believe last time we did have a large variety, there's still like many more that's a lot like interactive and interesting to watch. Some I can name off the top of my head are like code names or like Rocket League. But another thing that caught my eye was the fact that we have a Roblox IHS server, and we could like certainly like somehow implement that to our virtual rallies as well.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, we have Jenny.
So for me, I think it's the ICC meeting because I know that even though after Amy explained it how to fill out the fundraiser forms, I think many clubs are still stuck on that, and I think it's best if we could definitely like use an example of a club and a store and then actually fill them out together so they have a brief summary of what they need to do and how they can do it instead of just like giving them some papers. And I know some people it's easier to follow directions just by looking at the papers how Amy like filled out for them, but the thing is I feel like some people are still not able to emphasize and like actually fill out the forms. But I think definitely we should just Amy can give like an example of filling out the forms together, like the finance and records can give an example of filling out the forms together. That's my input.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Likhitha.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the freshman orientation, which was in person for me. I feel like the mentors and everyone were nice, but as a freshman, we were scared because it's our first year and it's kind of like nerve-wracking type. So I want to make sure like the freshies who are going to come in are like comfortable and also make them participate, even if it's online or in person, and make sure they feel safe or comfortable to ask questions, everything they're curious about or want to know about.
Cool. Thank you, Likhitha. Next, we have Faith.
Hello. When I was a climate change panelist, I would approve my spectrum of conversation that would have allowed personal statistics and real life situations so we could get more self-awareness around the issue, and that is closer to home than we think. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Praceda.
So when you guys mentioned this, I was thinking about the Sixers virtual rally that we had. I felt like it was too long, so it lasted for hours and people were kind of bored because they were just watching. So I want to make it more interactive. And in addition, I want to focus on publicizing the rally more because it felt really bad that the freshmen, a lot of freshmen who don't have social media or not that into checking their emails, who are not able to attend their first ever rally. So I would focus on publicizing it through clubs that they're part of in and other means of communication for them.
Cool, thank you. Next, we have Debanshu.
So last year with in-person rallies, I noticed that there were a lot of people who weren't even interested in caring about the rallies, since there's also this feature where you're allowed to not show up at the rally and sit out the rally. And I noticed a lot of people were more excited about doing that than actually thinking about going to the rally. So what we need to do is definitely work on making rallies more interactive and also try to appeal to those people who to give them a second thought to actually show up. Because with virtual rallies, if people don't even think about going, then we'll never have our audience growing. And even if we make it more engaging, we need to be able to let them know that it is definitely better now.
Cool, thank you, Debanshu. Next, we have Theresa.
All right, so one of the events I want to talk about is the club week that was held virtually. All of the clubs were presented amazing, perfectly, but one of the things that was lacking was the amount of spirit through the video. Everyone was talking through the YouTube live chat, and I felt that lacked some spirit within the video. So one of the ways I want to improve that is through a Zoom call. So everyone can cheer on each of their clubs. So everyone can feel the spirit within each club and make them want to join again or again.
Cool, thank you. Next, we have Amelia.
Multicultural Rally is one of the most memorable rallies at our school. And I think it's a great opportunity for many cultures to represent their culture, especially the underrepresented ones. And one of my initiatives is to increase diversity and inclusivity. So I want to invite underrepresented cultures like Indonesia, Cambodia, and many more to showcase their culture. And I want to increase that initiative and invite people to really show this is our student body and this is the people that make it up.
Cool, thank you. That is the end of our first question. Thank you to all the candidates for responding. We will move to the second question. To the candidates for VP of Athletics, why do you want to be the VP of Athletics? Okay, let's start with Jenny.
So I want to serve as VP of Athletics since I'm really passionate about our athletics program that offers so many sports to our students with a variety. And plus, one of the problems that I wanted to point out and want to implement if I was elected is that sports equality, because I know that many sports don't have the same equality because there can be biased opinions on which sport you like more and which sport gains more attention in games. And I just want to promote sport equalities to give equal opportunities in promoting, acknowledging, and fundraising, because I know that popularity really differs from each sport. I just want to implement the idea that whatever the school does for one sport, they got to do it for the other sport. For example, I'm sorry for using these sport as examples, but if the school does something for football, since football is a really hyped up sport and usually people go to the games, they gotta do something for golf too, because I know that.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, for your response. Next, Armaan.
So this year I was actually really lucky to be fortunate enough to have good coaches who actually push for cohorts, and they sent us workouts over multiple apps. And I feel that currently now some sports are moving forward with actually actively trying to have a new season, such as golf and cross country. But my goal would be to essentially for the sports that aren't able to kind of do it because they're indoor or for whatever reason, to be able to open up cohorts for them as well, because I truly believe that it's an experience everyone should have. And I would do this by initiating a connection with our athletics director Yenchek, and I think my coach would also have a good impact on this.
Thank you, Armaan.
Thank you. That ends our second question. Thank you to both our athletics candidates for answering. Now to the third question. To everyone, what sets you apart from other candidates? Okay, we're going to go backwards now and start with the student outreach candidates, and we'll start with Amelia.
Hello. So something that sets me apart from other candidates is currently this year, I'm working with the Student Outreach Committee in our leadership class. And something that really inspired me to work for outreach is I want to continue the initiatives that we've started. And some of you might have received an email already, but one of the things my committee, in particular Student Affairs, has been working on is an honor roll system. And I think that's great to recognize student achievement and to outreach to them like, hey, we appreciate the work you're doing. And something we're currently doing right now is a bunch of surveys that will evaluate how LGBTQ plus affairs are being handled at school and diversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. Next, we have Theresa.
I believe that all of my fellow candidates are extremely qualified for each position, but one thing that sets me apart from them is I love to be organized and I want to handle with all of the problems that we have during this pandemic or distance learning. And I love to be creative with my own ideas and I want to help spread the ideas, spread my own ideas to others and listen to others rightfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, we have Debanshu.
So, while I may not have as much experience as other people, I am definitely willing to give my best and work hard. I am a person who tends to be very dedicated, and obviously, for anyone to have been anywhere, they have to start somewhere. So this is where I want to start. As VP of Student Outreach, I will definitely work hard and I will help make sure that we can improve our school.
Thank you, Debanshu. Next, we have Praceda.
Okay, so in my opinion, a good VP of student outreach is a person who knows about like the community at school and about the student body. So I was part of 7 clubs this year and I did sports last year as well. So I think I would make a really good VP of outreach because I know a lot about our students at school and what problems they go through because I can really relate to them. And since I was younger, I transferred to a lot of schools. I went to 4 different elementary schools, 3 different middle schools, and I had a lot of a really tough time adjusting. And I've been to really, really good schools and not so good schools. So I think using all those experiences, I can make our school into a better one. I'm not saying it's bad right now. It's a really amazing school. We have amazing people, but I just want to make it a better environment where everybody feels safe and appreciated and accepted in it, whoever they are or however they are.
Thank you, Praceda. Next, we have Faith.
We all have the opportunity to think ahead, to be diligent. We're all passionate for equity, passionate about equity. What sets me apart is basic opportunities that I've been willing to take and nothing to shut down. The sky is never the limit. I wouldn't want to be critical of myself towards anybody else. So just we're all passionate for equity. So I wouldn't say I'm so apart from the other candidates. But thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Likhitha.
I believe everyone is qualified for their position, but what sets me apart is like the ideas that I'm trying to implement in online school and in-person school. And also I'm part of many clubs and sports since my freshman year, which helped me become a better team person, communicate with my team, and also be open to new changes and opinions. I'm also passionate with the positions that I'm trying to do right now, and I'll try my best to make a change through it.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, we have Jenny.
I think definitely what sets me apart from my peers is that I actually have experience in sports team and clubs, and I directly experience the problems that I want to fix and I think that should be fixed. So I definitely think that since I'm running for this position, I definitely think that my ideas that I want to fix are implemented. I want to implement them into the system, and during this online system, definitely want to implement some athletic stuff in there since I know that everything like school activities are still going on, but athletics can't go on because of many health concerns. So I definitely want to implement something for athletics during this time. And yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, we have Armaan.
Something that separates me from other candidates is the fact that I'm very determined in what I do. I'm passionate both about leading our school and also in athletics. I feel that I'm very deeply connected to like most of the athletics communities, as I've done like a lot of sports throughout my career, and I know precisely what many athletes want in terms of recognition and also better stuff for their better working conditions for their sports, and I believe I can help achieve that.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, we have Truc.
What I believe sets me aside is all of the leadership positions I've been in. I've been an active Girl Scout for about 6 years, and I've had many leadership positions and chances, and I feel like I'm really qualified to try and take this position. And I also feel like I've also been in class office, web clubs, and all of that stuff, and I want to try and better the school's or enhance the school's good traits, and also try to better the bad traits about our school, because I feel like our school is pretty good, but I feel like there should be more opportunities to fix that. And I also want to grow as a person in a leadership position, because I want to better myself and also better the school. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Truc. Next, we have Kyleigh.
So ever since I served my first year in class office, I realized I really wanted to run for this position. So ever since then, I have been running towards positions that have been related to the ASB of records and finance. Sorry, and I really have a great passion for economic success and prosperity, and I've been in many positions such as, of course, class office treasurer. This year I became an officer of my own club, which is again the treasurer. I've also joined. I didn't let COVID stop me this year either, and I've joined like 2 more clubs that I've really have reached out to. And one thing that I could say that sets me apart from my candidates is that my
Thank
intention.
you, Kyleigh.
Thank you, Kyleigh. Next, we have Amy.
So I may be the only candidate running for this position, but if there were others, what I think would set me apart would be my relationship with clubs and the amount of clubs that I've been in. So I know that the executive vice president is closely tied to all the different clubs at our school. So, and because I've been in many and held leadership positions in many, I know like the issues that they have and the struggles that clubs go through. And as the next executive vice president, I hope to help relieve those issues and make the school environment better, and make the school environment better for the clubs, and just make the conditions and the just to improve the relationships that clubs and ASB has in general to make
you,
their lives
Amy.
easier.
Thanks, Amy. And finally, we have Ali.
Okay, so I know there's like a running joke about like ASB kids and class office, and I'm actively aware of that. So I think having that like self-awareness of that, I think that really benefits me. Also I have fun hair, changes every single month. So that's pretty different. That sets me apart, Like if we take a group picture and I'm like standing there, then you're gonna see my hair, that's pretty different. Also, I have a lot of experience. I was like in office since my freshman year, so I think that might help. But like I said, the hair really sets me apart. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends the I can't count. That ends this question. Thank you to all the candidates that responded. And we will go on to the next question. To the candidates for VP of Finance and Records, ASB has been given $1 million to spend on our school. How would you spend that money? All right, we'll start with Kyleigh.
So the first thing I think we should do with the money is, of course, reinforce our school, especially there are bathrooms, and actually have some hand soaps in there. I also think we would a seating place for lunch and eating would be useful. And secondly, I think the rest of the money that would be used for school would be great for activities and rallies, because I know ASB has been wanting a hamster ball for a really long time for rallies, but of course that would be for in person. And lastly, I think the rest of the money should be put into savings, because you never know when you're going to need those $1 million, and those $1 million shouldn't be like all spent at once. Sorry.
Thank you, Kyleigh. Next, we have Truc.
I definitely agree with Kyleigh about the bathrooms. I did plan on trying to improve the soap dispensers and the mirrors and stuff like that. And I also, for online, I do believe that we should invest some money into the clubs, because a lot of the clubs do not get a lot of publicity. So maybe maybe a club day carnival or something like that. I also believe that we should organize the charter forms, because as this position, it's really inclusive with the clubs. So I feel like we should also do that. And because of COVID, a lot of us are like alone by ourselves, and we need to make more friends. So maybe a website, kind of like Omegle, but for independence only. And like we get to make new friends and stuff like that. And also a health day where all the health.
Thank you, Truc.
Thank you to the VP of Finance and Records candidates for answering that last question. We will go to the next question. To everyone, which is more important, ASB or academics, and why? We will start with the communications candidates, and then we'll go around to the VP of Student Outreach candidates. I think we're going backwards. Yes. We'll start with Likhitha.
Okay, honestly, I would say ASB, even though I know academics are really important for you, but the reason I chose ASB is because through ASB, you can make a change, but without your academics, you cannot really implement your ideas or try to make a change in your school, but with ASB, you can.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, we have Faith.
I wouldn't say the spectrum is black or white, but overall, I would say academics is more important, or just because of the value. It took years of constructions from philosophers, scientists, and it's constantly improving. To disregard all these work and years of improvement is a little ignorant, but ASB is very important, and it's such a passionate idea. And I really love ASB. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Faith. Next, we have the VP of Athletic candidates. Let's start with Armaan.
So I personally have a belief that like you can't have one over the other. For example, you need to like find a good balance of both. If you have bad academics, then obviously your availability in ASB and willingness to help in ASB is going to be more difficult. But if you're not that like responsive in ASB, or then you're just not doing your job. So you need to like find a perfect balance between the two and figure out like what like works best for you. Because if you're trying to prioritize one over the other, one of them is definitely going to like fall, and that's going to eventually lead to the other to fall.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, we have Kyleigh.
So I would say academics would be more important in this situation, just because I know that if your grades are terrible, you're obviously going to be kicked out of ASB because it said in the application somewhere. But yeah, so I would focus more on my academics, just so I can make sure that just to be an ASB, and I know I will put my I will be fully committed to ASB, although I will also keep my academics by my side, because the reason why I am in ASB is just because I have, I'm eligible to do it and I have the grades for it and so on.
Okay, so thank you. I skipped over Jenny. I'm so sorry. Jenny, you could go.
It's all right. I personally think just kind of like how Kyleigh said it, like academics, since you need academics to actually make ASB, and if you can't handle academics, then you can't handle ASB either. So definitely think you first need to know the prioritization between like academics and ASB. You gotta balance out both of them at the same time. But I truly think academics still comes first in a way, because you do need it for ASB.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Next, we have Truc.
Like the others said, I do believe that academics comes first, because of course you have to have good academics to be an ASB, but I also feel like it's a make or break, because they're very both important things. But if you think about it, ASB is a extracurricular activity, and your knowledge in like life is very important. So you have to know the basic stuff in order to get into colleges and stuff like that. Because if you compare them, academics is really important. But I also think that ASB is at more as important.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Amy.
So I kind of think that they're equally as important. As since I decided to run for this position, it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm able to handle both the academics and ASB. So I think that finding the balance between academics while taking care of your extracurriculars such as ASB is important. Like if you're able, to me, ASB is like kind of a form of motivation. So because I'm succeeding in ASB, I'm able to have motivation to do academics. And because I'm doing well in academics, I would be able to, successfully or be able to fulfill my position as ASB. So I think that finding the balance is what works.
Thank you, Amy. Next, we have Ali.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, obviously as a whole, academics over ASB, yeah, academics is important, but if it's coming down to, like, I have to miss an assignment and complete my responsibility for ASB, then yeah, because that's not gonna completely make or break my academic life. Like, it's not gonna completely drop my, like, GPA down to a 0 if I miss an assignment. So if we're talking more specifically as in, like, ASB responsibilities at that direct moment, then yeah, ASB, but as a whole, which is more important, academics, just overall. So thank you.
Thank you, Ali. And then we will swing back to Theresa.
All right, so in my opinion, both are important and essentials for life because academics help you understand different subjects and gain better knowledge for college. However, ASB helps me to gain more confidence while helping the campus grow. But honestly, ASB is more important to me because you increase or grow skills in organization, communication, etc., which are all important necessities for life or any other jobs.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, we have Praceda.
Hi guys, so this question is just like asking me, hey Praceda, do you like your left eye or your right eye more? I love both of my eyes, so that's what I'm saying. So academics, yeah, I need it for my future, but ASB is my passion, guys. Of course, I'm like that one girl who wants that 4.0 GPA and like give valedictorian her senior year. But also I want to do ASB because I lived like a refugee my entire life. I kept moving everywhere. I never even seen myself in a yearbook before. So I really want to make an impact on all of you all so that when you go to college, you will think about me like, oh my God, Praceda was such a good student outreach. Like because of her, I had such a meaningful time. I really want to hear those words one day before I graduate. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Praceda. Next, we have Amelia.
When applying for an organization, I was asked to put different things on my list of priorities. So my response was mental health, academics, and extracurriculars, which is what ASB would fall under. Because at the end of the day, we're here at Independence High School to learn for our education, right? But ASB is so important because they're responsible for building a community. And that community of clubs and sports is what makes education so fun. So although I do think academics is more important, that doesn't mean ASB isn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. And finally, we have Debanshu.
Well, academics stand for knowledge, and while knowledge is power, ASB stands for experience. Acting with experience definitely provides more confidence than just knowledge, but acting with experience and no knowledge doesn't necessarily mean that you're credible. Therefore, I believe it's important to be able to balance both to be a better person.
Thank you to all the candidates for answering this question, and we will move on to the next question. To everyone, what kind of legacy do you want to leave here at school? When others remember you, what do they think of? For example, a specific impact you might have made or your leadership. This time we'll start with the Executive Vice President candidate and then go around to the finance candidates. Amy?
So I consider myself a strong active advocate of inclusiveness, and I think that everyone in the student body should feel welcomed and comfortable here at IHS. I want others to remember me as someone who's like friendly and really able to talk, really talkative, and someone that they could easily reach out to. Like someone who like they think of me and be like, oh yeah, that's the first person who talked to me when I was like on the first day of freshman year or something like that. A specific impact I might have made on my leadership would be again, my friendliness. I'm known to make friends really easily. Like freshman year, I made friends pretty quickly, and through that, I was able to be successful in my clubs and etc. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next, we have Ali.
Okay, so I'll be honest, like, just based on this year alone in ASB, like, as soon as we started the year off, we had that whole, like, budget cuts and, like, stop our counselors, stop our, like, staff from getting fired. And our ASB cabinet, which wasn't even technically supposed to be in term yet, we worked and we made sure that that didn't happen. So that alone, that was, like, I wasn't planning for that. I wasn't like, I'm running for ASB so that I could do that. It just kind of happened, and I'm glad it did, and I'm glad we pushed for it. Another thing is the virtual events. I mean, that's history. Like, we've never had virtual events, and I'm going to continue to give you guys virtual events. BOTC is on March 26th, and Multicultural is going to be on March 13th. Both of them are at 5 o'clock on YouTube Live on this exact account, so please come. So, like I said, I really just want to keep going with those events, but President, I can't, like, give you guys a direct answer for that because...
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Next, we have Debanshu.
Okay. Personally, I'm fine with you remembering me as that guy who helped out a lot. But I think the biggest thing that would make me happy is if people remembered me as that guy who made school feel more enjoyable. And not just to students, but even the teachers. If we can make anyone's day better and we can make them remember that they can make other people's day better, that would be really nice. And that's what would make me happy for it to be my legacy.
Thank you, Debanshu. Next, we have Praceda.
Okay, y'all. So today morning I woke up and I just realized that I'm gonna be a senior next year. And I was like, what did I do with my life? And I was thinking back and I was like, oh, I did this, I did that. So I want everybody, like, you know, to have a really good time at school. And like when they look back, all they have to see is like the joy and happiness and like everything that they've been through in high school. So whatever I experienced, all the amazing friends I made from every kind of, you know, place they came from. I want everybody to have that same experience like that. I want everybody to remember me as a person who helped them feel really inclusive and you know, help them make the best memories of their time at high school. Yeah.
Thank you, Praceda. Next, we have Amelia.
In reality, my name might not be remembered. And sometimes being a leader means that your work may not be recognized to you. But what matters is the work that needs to be gets done. And I'd rather the recognition goes towards the position itself, student outreach. And this is only the second year of its existence. So I want to build the reputation of student outreach itself that, hey, for people like in a couple of years, like, hey, that's the position that makes a difference. That's a position that changes the school. That's the position I want to run for so I can make a difference at Indy. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. And Theresa?
All right, so I want to make this clear and simple. I want others to remember me as a person who helped others in need and someone who helped publish ideas that were once not heard of. And of course, someone who let everyone's voice be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, we have Likhitha.
One kind of legacy that I want to leave is someone who is friendly and tries to like help them out depending on what type of problem they're going through. And if it's like something requires communication with another person, I can also help through that. And some of the impacts I want to implement is like a podcast where you could get to know your classmates, students, and Independence more, and also your teachers and staffs, all like the different people who are from different race and all like who are different people. Yeah.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, we have Faith.
I do not have a crave for a legacy or recognition, but I do want to bring awareness to the neglect against the deaf community in the Eastside Union High School District, as well as Independence, bring awareness to those who might feel belittled in this time, and how we could change, learn some ASL, and work on subtitles. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. And next we have Armaan.
I definitely want people to remember their time in high school as like cherishable and memorable. And one of my goals to do so, especially because of distance learning, is to improve athletic conditions for many of the sports that haven't been able to participate at all. And that's kind of the legacy I want to leave, because I know there's many sports that haven't been able to start at all. And I know what regret feels like for certain athletes, and I don't want them to leave high school with that type of feeling. And I want them to be like able to like fully experience their, I guess, high school experience.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, we have Jenny.
Personally, I definitely think that being remembered is really nice, but the legacy that I really want to leave at Independence is sports unification, where everybody is not biased about each sport. So it's not like another sport person's like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky, you guys get to do this or this. But instead, we're all under Sixers pride, and by implementing sports equality, then I think that definitely will help each other, and it'll definitely like help us unify in a way so like there's no biased opinions everywhere for each sport. Yes.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, we have Truc.
Obviously, like, I'm not really one to like try to strive for being known as someone, but it would be really nice if I was known as someone who's like involved in school and passionate and really friendly, because to me mental health is very important, because I've known a lot of people who've gone through really tough times, and I want to be able to be there for people and be known like, hey, that's someone who helped me when I was at my lowest. And I feel like that's very important to a person's self-values, because for me, my values are passion, improvement, and empathy. And I really want to have the IHS community really together. And it would be really nice if I was known as someone who fixed the bathrooms, because we all know the bathrooms aren't the greatest. So yeah.
Thank you, Truc. And finally, we have Kyleigh.
I want to be known as someone who has really helped the clubs around our school. I know some of them do have financial problems, and I want to be able to educate them through workshops about how to fill out forms, make a fundraiser, how to work events, anything, honestly. And I want that knowledge to be passed down after I leave the school. So I want to be known as the person who has helped our community financially.
Thank you, Kyleigh. And that ends our question, unless I missed someone. I don't think I missed anyone. Okay, that concludes that question. Thank you, candidates, for answering. And we're going to the next question. To the candidates for VP of Communications, my favorite, I'm kidding. How do you plan on unifying the students on your campus as with your position of VP of Communications? Now, let's start with Likhitha.
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm planning on doing this like podcast where you can learn about different people in our school and community. And also, I am also planning to create a Google form, which could be anonymous, where you can talk about your problems in our school. Like it could be a problem with another student, or a problem with a teacher or a staff member. And it will all be anonymous, where you can mention and we can talk about it and try to fix that problem as soon as possible.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, Faith.
With my experience, this question is either political or critical. It's in between. You can bring passionate opportunities to everyone near you, but you can't bring the passion into somebody. So of course, allowing limited additional opportunities, surveys to how do I place the best opportunities to allow students to be as passionate as they can. So just to work with the students themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. And that ends this question. Thank you to the VP Communications candidates for answering. And next, to everyone, how will you manage your time with extracurriculars, school, and your position? This time, we'll start with Ali, and then we'll go down to student outreach.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not in any clubs. I just have sports and my APs, and next year I'm not really taking any like APs that are gonna like just take my schedule up. Also, I'm so organized. I'm gonna brag. I got this calendar. I use it every single day. I track all of my extracurriculars. It's like so awesome. So I'm really organized. And also I don't sleep sometimes. So thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Cool calendar. Next, we have Amy.
So I know that ASB is a large time commitment, and I'm sure that I'll definitely not be able to carry out all of the different clubs that I'm in right now. And I'm completely okay with making the sacrifice of dropping a few of the clubs that I'm in right now in order to manage my time better and to be able to properly fulfill the role of executive vice president. I'm also pretty organized. I don't have like a actual calendar like Ali, but I keep a virtual calendar. So yeah, I'm organized too. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Next, we have Kyleigh.
So being an outgoing student or in this school, I have been a part of many extracurriculars in my high school career. So from what I do in the beginning of before my next school year, I usually create a schedule of my extracurriculars, just like my classes, to make sure that nothing will interfere with anything else. And basically that's like my little secret on how do I manage time. But when it comes to extracurriculars in school, like I said before, I do make sure that I will be 100% committed to ASB, as well as keeping my academics up and being equally as committed to my other extracurriculars, which I'm not really sure if I'm joining any next year. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kyleigh. Next, we have Truc.
I think that what I should prioritize is like figure out a schedule, especially for my homework, because when I prioritize all of the things I have, it's school, then ASB, and then everything else I have. And so I'm okay with making sacrifices as well, because I think that ASB is very important, especially the position I'm running for. I know it's very important with the signing stuff, and just like I want to know when I can push off my homework, because having a schedule makes it easier for me so I can do my ASB task and also not fail in school. So yeah.
Thank you, Truc. Next, we have Jenny.
Like I said, I do have to sleep at 10 to 11 p.m. I'm not lying. I do have to sleep on the weeks, like just usually the school days. But I can be a rebel and I will break that rule. And these days I have been being a rebel because of ASB, specifically because of ASB. So I have been breaking the rules and being a rebel. And for extracurriculars, it's something that I like to do, so it's something fun. But for school, I usually have that homework spark where you like do like a homework when you just have that one spark and then kind of quit everything else. So I think I can manage my time pretty good because I usually do sleep earlier than most people. That's the truth. That's about it.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, we have Armaan.
Starting with extracurriculars, many of my extracurriculars just include sports, and I believe like doing sports as a part of my job in ASB is actually going to benefit me because it'll help me build a stronger bond within the community, and being a part of the community will also help me make better decisions for my position. And in terms of schoolwork, I've shown that I've been on top of my classes, and even with multiple APs, I've been able to keep up good grades and do my homework on time. And so I believe that I'm good at time management. Thank you.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, we have Faith.
I am obsessed with tracking my life. I have sleep trackers, I have a whiteboard, I have Google calendars, a planner, reminders. Also, viewing stress as a positive and inevitable condition, to always know that you're resilient and do not limit yourself, and to provide yourself with the love and care that you need, and to continue your aspirations at the same time is very important. So thank you.
Thanks, Faith. Next, we have Likhitha.
Okay, same with me as like Jenny. I also have like a bedtime, which is 12:30, but I am willing to break and be a rebel, but it's okay. And I also do my homework really ahead of time, and I have like planners and like online planners and timers and everything where I make sure I go to the specific events. And for some clubs, I am willing to sacrifice some for my position if needed.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, we have Theresa.
All right, so I always manage my time with a planner. And this is my planner for this year. And every single year, since it helps me to organize all of my activities, and this is the answer I always give to others when they ask the same question, because I always write down assignments, due dates, co-events, club or ASB meetings, etc. Since it really helps me, I encourage you to buy a planner this year to keep all of your assignments and due dates on time.
Thank you. I'm very convinced by your planner ad. Where can I get one?
Of course, you can get one at Walmart.
Thank you. I will probably head to Walmart soon. Anyways, back to the questions. Let's go to Debanshu.
Well, for one thing, managing time requires scheduling, but I also believe in being proactive and productive, because if you can get your work done almost just after you are assigned it, you don't have much work left. And so I believe in working with effectivity, which is how I manage my time and how I will continue to manage my time.
Thank you, Debanshu. Next, we have Praceda.
Basically, all the other candidates kind of said what I wanted to say, but not gonna flex or anything. I never turned in a late assignment before, guys. I always turn in my assignments on time. I do all my work on time, so you guys could always trust me to manage my time and do everything that I have to. Just like the current ASB members, I am willing to sacrifice my clubs and other things to prioritize you and your time at school. So please trust me. And I would give up my animes and my list. I would put it on list and try to solve all your problems before that. So yeah, thank y'all.
Thanks, Praceda. And finally, Amelia.
So my list of priorities are my mental health, academics, and extracurriculars. And because I really want to prioritize ASB and push for ASB's ambitious agenda, I'm going to limit myself to 2 and 2 extracurriculars and 2 APs, so I can maximize my time for the inevitable and for my me time. Thank you.
Thanks, Amelia, and thank you to all the candidates for answering this question, and we'll go on to the next question. To everyone, if you didn't run for ASB last year, what stopped you? If you're running again, why did you choose this position? What can you do to improve your position and role? Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to start with the communications position. We'll start with Faith.
This is my first year at the school, and so I have not ran last year. But I don't want to limit myself with opportunities or be scared of new conditions. And ASB is well constructed, passionate, and right up my role, right up my alley. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Faith. Let's go with Likhitha.
Okay, so I was in Independence for 2 years now, and I did not run for ASB last year because I felt I wasn't prepared or well suited for that position at the moment. Because I'm going to be honest, last year it was pretty stressful for me because I was trying to get used to the environment and everything, and I was not really good at my time management. So I thought if I couldn't really manage my time with my academics and current extracurriculars, then I wouldn't be well suited for the position and try to make a change. So this year, however, I did change my habits and also become really productive, so which would help me improve and also make a change in this position.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, let's go to Truc.
One of the reasons why I didn't run last year is because I wanted to start somewhere, but I didn't want to start too high because I feel like ASB is pretty up there. So I want to start as class office and try to help a small community like my the class of 2023. And then now I want to move up to class of or the whole classes. I mean, and I also feel like how I can improve my role in this finance and records is being more organized, because I know that my position is more club oriented, and I feel like organizing all of my forums and stuff like that would be more helpful. And also have communication, because I know teamwork is really important for ASB and trying to improve independence as a whole. So yeah.
Thank you, Truc. Next, Kyleigh.
So I actually was thinking about running for ASB last year, but the thing that held me back was I didn't think I was ready for that position. I mean, another way I guess you can say is like Likhitha said, I wasn't prepared. I wanted to run another what do you say, another year in class office just to like get myself used to the forms and like everything that could be like related to this position. And what I can do to improve this position and role is that I can be more outgoing because this year I haven't made a lot of friends or haven't talked to anyone that much because of course everything is virtual now, so it's a lot harder. But I want to reach out to more people with this position.
Thank you, Kyleigh. Next, we'll go to Amelia.
I did run for ASB last year, and I decided to run again as VP of Student Outreach because I saw the work that Adrian and his predecessor and the current Student Outreach Committee was doing, and I really wanted to be a part of that initiative. And something that's really important for me to enforce as a possible VP of Student Outreach next year is to create more opportunity for networking and create a page for events and volunteering on the IHS website. And why I'm really passionate about that is because we really build a community, and in order to get involved, we need networking, right? So I want to open that opportunity to everyone else. And that's really important for student outreach and why I ran. So thank you.
Thanks, Amelia. Next, we have Theresa.
All right, so what stopped me to not run for ASB last year was because I was a freshman and I wanted to use that year to get used to the environment, school campus, events, and other things. And another thing was I got lost in the first year. I got lost everywhere. I was like, where's the bathroom? Where's the classrooms? Where is everyone? So I felt like when you're ASB, you need to like get engaged with the school, and I didn't have the knowledge at that time because I wasn't used to the events or any other campus stuff happening at that time. So yeah.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, Debanshu.
Last year I felt that I wasn't ready, so I didn't really try. But this year, I felt that I was ready since I was working on improving myself from last year, and I came across a learning curve in which the only way for me to improve further would be to run for ASB. This is why I decided to run for it this year.
Thank you, Debanshu. And Praceda?
Actually, last year I was like my lowest point of my life. I had no self-confidence. I was really afraid of doing anything. I didn't want to step out of my comfort zone. However, I did apply for class office twice, but I did not make it, which was kind of sad. However, a lot of people, when they don't make it into something, they kind of give it up. However, since I wanted to change the school instead of just going for a title, I did a lot of clubs. I started my own club too, just to put out what I want to do and what I believe in. And I think I did all of that, what I wanted to do this year, even though I didn't have a class office position. But getting a larger platform or like a bigger stage with student outreach, I want to help out ELD students and special ed students since they take up almost 20% of our student population, guys. They're really important. And I heard one of my best friends, younger sibling, is actually disabled and everything. And like she was telling me about how she would feel if her little brother got bullied. And it kind of really had an impact on me.
Thank you, Praceda.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Praceda. Next, we'll go to Armaan.
So the reason I didn't run for ASB last year was essentially because I felt I lacked the passion and confidence to do so. But after this year, after being a part of class office and like finally getting to be in a leadership position, I feel that I'm more passionate about it now. And I wanted to combine both my passions for leadership and also athletics into the role of ASB athletics. And I think something I can do that's good for the position is use this passion to help propel my goals and make them come into action.
Thank you, Armaan. Next, Jenny.
So last year I was actually about to run, but I thought it was only like freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. I did not run, but I always wanted this position since when I was in volleyball, the VP of athletics were always there, and they were like the mastermind behind helping sports. And I thought that was really, really cool because you get to help out the sports. If you have any complaints, you help them. Plus, I want to put pressure on this position by implementing sports equality because usually this position, you just help the athletic director with everything. Instead, I actually want to put pressure on this position so that they can actually make some changes in the sports. And one of the changes I want to make is sports equality. Yes.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, Amy.
So last year I actually considered running for ASB. Like I had the application and everything, but what stopped me was probably my connections and qualifications. You know, I was just a little freshman last year, and I knew that the other people running were definitely much more qualified than I was. So I decided to apply for class office instead to gain more experience. And as for how I can improve this position, I think I can improve it by just being more proactive and building stronger connections with not only the clubs, since executive VP is closely tied with the clubs, but also the entire student body as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. And finally, Allie.
Okay, so I loved events. I still do. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like I hate my events. Told you guys, BOTC multi coming up. But there was never a time this year where I was like, oh, Crystal, Ethan, let's talk about athletics, or Michelle, let's talk about communications, like Adrian, let's talk about outreach. And it's just because like I was so focused on my events, and while these events are important, they're fun, they're exciting. President, I know Katie is involved. Oh, sorry. I mean, as a president, I know that that president position is going to be involved with every single like member and every single responsibility of an office. And I want to do that. Like, I don't want to be confined to just the events, because while they're important, I know that there's other important things that I want to be able to help out and lead. So I know the president position could do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. I think that's everyone, right? Hopefully. Yeah, okay. We'll go to the next question. To everyone, this is a scenario. You are now a part of the ASB cabinet and you happen to experience conflict with other ASB members. How do you handle and approach the conflict? And how do you make sure this does not affect your performance and the duties that you need to fulfill in ASB? Okay, let's start with the order on my screen. This is not by position or anything. The first person after Crystal is Debanshu.
Well, the first thing I would do is to resolve the conflict peacefully, because if we cannot agree with each other, then there's nothing to guarantee that we'd be able to make proper decisions effectively. And so the first thing I would do is to resolve the conflict peacefully by maybe talking to them and not trying to argue or escalate the conflict. Pretty much.
Okay, thank you. Next, Armaan.
You would definitely need to solve the conflict as fast as possible. And I think a good way to do that is to just talk it out and essentially listen to both sides of the story. And if there is a common ground that both sides can come to, then we should definitely try to approach that as fast as possible, because the only thing a conflict does is give you a lapse in your judgment, and it makes most of your duties not as enjoyable, because ASB is, I feel like it's meant to be a little fun as well, and you shouldn't have to go through the, I guess, pain of having to please everyone, or essentially. Thank you.
Sorry, I feel bad for cutting people off. However, we'll go next to Truc.
I thought of the scenario as in drama between two of the ASB members. So in that scenario, I would try and reach out to maybe the president or Mr. Logan, because if I did not know how to settle the conflict with the person itself, because maybe I wasn't comfortable enough, and I feel like it wouldn't really affect me because I've been working on my on not being affected by other people's opinions for years, because that's what I've been suffering with my mental health. And I believe that I should not try to stick with, if I do end up hating them, I'll try to avoid that, because ASB is all about teamwork, and if I can't communicate properly with them, sorry.
I feel so bad. Oh my god. Okay, next, Theresa.
All right, so first of all, just like Truc, I would talk to Mr. Logan, but I'll also talk with my counselor about this issue, and I would find out why I'm having these issues with the ASB office, because if I can't solve these conflicts as soon as possible, then the problems would only increase, and you need to work with the ASB office to create a good environment on campus.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, Jenny.
So I definitely think conflicts needs to be confronted or else it can lead to a downfall and the teamwork of ASB will collapse. So I definitely think if you confront about it and talk about it and sort it out in a peaceful relationship, just keep it neutral. Just keep everything neutral if you don't like that person. And the wording like leave your personal life out of work, but it's school this time, so just leave it. Be neutral. That's what I can say.
Thanks, Jenny. Next, we have Faith.
Well, I've experience with, I was once in the Urban Debate League, and conflict is a very natural thing in society. No matter what age, what gender you are, conflict is natural. I choose to view conflict with opening somebody's topic with, to look at it with great value while reflecting yours, to having your value as fostering transparency, self-welcoming doubt, over feeling good and revenge. So we should look at conflict as a natural thing and deal with it in a very valuable way.
Time. Oh wait, you finished. Sorry. Thank you. Next, Likhitha.
Hi, so for me, I would like have a Zoom with them or like pull them out and try to like talk it out. If it doesn't work, then I'll talk to like a trusted adult and like tell them this is what happened, or if I'm not understanding their side of the story, how can I fix that? Or if it doesn't fix, then we can just be neutral, like don't affect it with your position or your relationship in school and ASB.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next. Oh, proceed. Oh.
I kind of read your lips. Okay, I think it's me. Yeah. So what I believe is that what happens in ASB should stay in ASB. If it comes out, I feel like things will get really messy when people find out about things, and when it escalates, the situation is gonna get worse than it's actually supposed to be. And suppose this example, guys, like if we get $1 million and Jenny wants to buy 1 million volleyballs and Truc wants to buy 1 million soap dispensers for the bathrooms, and there's a conflict, I would talk to the president and try to find a middle ground between the both situations. I could say we'll use the $500,000 to buy the volleyballs and $500,000 to buy the soap dispensers. So what I'm trying to say is that there's only a conflict because people can't come to agreement. So I'll try my best to come to agreement in a cool way. Yeah.
Sorry. Next, Amelia.
It's important to note that it's all of us against the problem, not like one person against the other. So what I really want to do is promote a professional and mature response to the situation, and not to act out of emotion, and to really reinforce that, guys, at the end of the day, we're the team, we're the council that the student body looks up to, so we have to set an example. And to do that, we have to be mature and responsible in our responses and treat others with respect. Thank you.
Thanks, Amelia. Next, Amy.
So I think within a conflict, communication is key. I would probably personally reach out to the people involved and actively try to resolve the conflict. But I think the most important thing is to make sure that the conflict wouldn't affect any like school events or ASB activities that's going on during that time. I would make sure that the conflict would be taken care of privately, whether through text or just talking to them one-on-one, so that it wouldn't affect the student body or anyone who was not directly involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next, Allie.
I think the extent and severity of conflict and just the definition of conflict alone is very important to take into account and consideration when addressing this topic, because there is a large difference between just a small disagreement in a spirit weekday, and there's a large there's a difference between just an ASB topic and something that might actually affect another more personal route. So while it is important to keep your personal life out of it, I totally stand by that. There just becomes a line, and you have to kind of differentiate that line, because eventually you cannot separate that. So I think honestly, just whatever is the least, there's no point in doing something that's not going to be effective in solving the problem. So I think avoiding unnecessary things, or that's a bad word, but anything unnecessary, avoid.
Sorry, but thank you, Allie. And finally, Kyleigh.
So I think the most responsible way to handle this is to obviously talk it out with all the members of ASB, find out what's the source, what's causing it, and make sure at the end of it to make sure that everyone has moved on completely. Because if anything were to get worse, then I say that you are affecting people who may or may not be in the conflict. In the conflict, and I believe that these feelings from this conflicts shouldn't affect your abilities. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry about that. And that is it for this question, and we will move on to the next, and I believe the final question. Okay. To everyone, how can you help ASB and the rest of the student body maintain a good and/or better relationship? I will go again randomly by the order on my screen. Let's start with Faith.
Well, your depiction of your values will order out your daily life communications. Of course, for the rest of the students, you can lead a thirsty horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink the water. So it's just important to have your values as positive and super transparent. Thank you.
Thanks, Faith. Next, Theresa.
In my opinion, it's always best to talk to your ASB officers both during and outside of meetings, since it helps build a better relationship, and it helps a lot when you're collaborating with a lot of people, and it helps to maintain a good campus relationship as well.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, Praceda.
Oh, sorry, I'm lagging. But I've been asked this question before, so I was thinking of placing bulletin boards in every comment of our school where students can see what each ASB officer is up to. This will provide accessible information for student body regarding the ASB and like what they're doing. In addition, I'm also planning on organizing lunch bonding events with ASB on Zoom where people can come and connect with the officers. In addition, each ASB officer can do Instagram live on our Indie activities page so they can know more about the ASB officer as a person rather than a leader who's just working to make the school better.
Thank you, Praceda. Next, we'll go to Amy.
So I like to think of myself as someone who's pretty peaceful, and as a peacemaker, I think I would help build and improve relationships between ASB and the student body through spirit, because I think, Sixers Pride spirit makes us all united, and through rallies and fun events like BOTC and things like that, we'd able to help build and nurture that relationship between ASB and the student body through spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next, Armaan.
So personally, obviously ASB is meant to represent most of the student body, and in order to maintain there would only ever be a conflict if the student body feels that ASB is not maintaining that relationship. So in order to make sure that we are actually representing them well, we have to make sure that we're taking in their input by doing things such as surveys or just asking questions, being involved in the community, and yeah, thank
you. Sorry. Thank you. Next, we'll go to Debanshu.
The biggest thing in maintaining a better relationship is to have better communication, and even two-way transparent communication, which is definitely important. And I'll actually agree that events like this are a great way to do that, where we are basically discussing about ourselves, but we are talking in a way that the other students can see us. So that is a great way of showing communication in a way. And so I think that is how we can maintain good relationship between students and ASB.
Thank you, Debanshu. Next, Truc.
I feel like communication and being open-minded is very important in terms of having a good relationship. So I feel like we should communicate more with ASB as a whole and also with the whole student body. And I feel like we should try to listen to what the student body wants, because it's their happiness above ours, because we are trying to improve the school. And some ways I think I can do that in my position as well is try to be open-minded about how financially I can divide the money up for all of the events that we can give out to the students.
Thank you, Truc. Next, we have Likhitha.
Like other candidates say, I would say communication is the main key. And as my position, communication, I'm a very like outgoing and friendly person. So I would say like talk to people, like just try to like have a convo with them, and like also ask them questions like how can we improve our school more? Like what are some ideas that you want to see the changes in our school or something like that. But if I know like some people are not like comfortable with talking to new people, then we can have like a Google form or like a spreadsheet, or where can they talk and also give their opinions and talk about it.
Thank you, Likhitha. Next, Amelia.
If we were playing a game of Jeopardy right now, the answer to this question would be, what is student outreach? And that is the bridge between the student body and ASB. And to do this, I really want to emphasize surveys, the creation of a volunteer and event page to improve networking, so we can really promote a close-knit IHS community. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. Next, Kyleigh.
So I believe as of right now, there is a gap between ASB and the student body. And I think the best way to close that gap is through communication and giving more leadership opportunities to the people that are in our school, especially giving, our previous candidates have said, I think spotlighting specific roles would be a great way to, how would you say, spotlight them. And another way is we could, like I said in the beginning, communicate more, because in this situation, communication is key. And I think it's really hard to communicate, especially since everything is virtual now. So thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for cutting you off. I think you were about to finish anyway, but sorry about that. Next, Jenny.
I think the best way to me is to maintain a good and better relationship is equality. So for everyone, I guess like all the students, when ASB should give like equal opportunities to everyone, that's when you can maintain a good relationship. For athletics personally, like VP of athletics, this position, it's when they don't show favoritism or like biased opinions towards their own sport that they've been playing. And I think when equality is met, I think there'll be more unification. So Sixers pride, you know.
Thank you, Jenny. And finally, Allie.
So hypothetically, if we go back next year, I think that alone, just being together, I think that will automatically like improve the communication between us, because we guys, like, we always had the daily bulletins, and I know that the translation of going into distance learning and keeping all of our ASB traditions alive, it's been tough, but we've done it. And so if we are in distance learning next year, we're only going to get better with that. So the bulletins this year, I mean, just having them through distance learning alone, communicating all of our ASB thoughts and other people and other clubs' thoughts, and having a platform to have all of those announcements, that alone is just communication. And so next year it can only really get better. But like I said, if we're in real school, then that alone is just gonna. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. Did I forget anyone? I feel like I forgot someone. No? All right. That concludes our forum, as this is the last question. Thank you, everyone and all the candidates, for coming here and taking the time out of their day to answer the audience's questions. And thank you to the audience for spending some time with us, an hour and a half, I think, to get to know your candidates and to give us this platform so we can share our thoughts with you. Thank you to Ethan Tai for streaming. Thank you to Crystal for doing the slides and the timing. And thank you to Mr. Logan, Miss Edwards for being there for us. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much. Voting
Yeah.
starts tomorrow at third period. So bye everyone.
Wait, actually, yo, hold up. One thing.
Oh, sorry.
You guys can't see it right now, but on the stream, actually, there's a yearbook. Did you know you can actually purchase the yearbook? Here's the flyer right here, as you can see. But also you can have an advertisement in the yearbook. So yearbook on sale, $60 until March 31st, and the code is on the bottom right. But if you want to have a business, organization, or nonprofit advertisement in there, as it says on the ad, then it's right there. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ethan, for sharing that.
Yeah. I'll also leave it on for a while. So we will, yeah, thank you.